All right. See a little Darth Vader action going on. See if I can get this thing off now. You might have seen his ads on buses and billboards around the state. I'm talking about Carter Mario, of course. He is a top lawyer, also an advocate for something that saves lives, motorcycle safety. And get Carter. We've got Carter, otherwise known as Carter Mario, an avid Harley rider and someone who understands the dangers of riding here in Connecticut. And your daughter, Alex, with you. You're also a rider and a safety advocate as well, right?
Yes.
Wow, this is really cool. So, like father, like daughter, the apple falls close. So we have it right here. Your bike, just off camera here. Let's see if we can get a shot of that beautiful cruiser. That's a Harley Davidson. How long have you been riding that?
This is a 2011, so relatively new. It's a street glide. And most importantly, though, is I bought it locally, got a great shop in Brantford Brothers. They take great care of it. That bike has about 6,000 miles on it.
All right, how long have you been riding, by the way?
I actually got my driver's license on a motorcycle.
Oh,
so
no kidding.
It's been,
You're 24 now.
You do the
so
math, it's about,
like
about 15, 20 years.
Okay, oh, I was thinking you were 24 now. All right, anyway, so what about Connecticut? Driving a car in Connecticut, I find to be a little bit harrowing compared to some less populated states. A lot of hills, a lot of traffic, a lot of people everywhere. So what do you find? I'm not a rider though, so what is it like from your perspective?
It's not the best place to ride. We were actually just in Wyoming last week. It's a whole different ballgame. The roads are tough here. The traffic is congested. The people don't really offer you the consideration they should. So you have to be absolutely on high alert when you ride your motorcycle around here.
Yeah, and so it's too bad because the roads themselves, some of these back roads are really beautiful to ride on. I ride a bicycle, certainly, and that's a lot of fun. But Alex, how about you? What's your experience been?
Well, I really enjoy riding with my dad. I've been on the bike with him since I was really little. And I think that the most important thing for me, though, has been he's kind of just made sure that I've gone over all my safety stuff. And I think that when I feel safe is when I'm really enjoying it.
All right, so for riders, and we'll talk about other drivers, too, because that's a really important element here. But as a motorcycle rider, before you even get on the bike, what are you thinking about looking at?
Well, first thing I look at is the overall condition of the bike. I want to make sure I check my air pressure, I check oil, fuel, and just make sure it looks intact. So that's the first thing, just a visual oversight. And then you start your process with proper clothing. You have to have eye protection. No matter how old you are in Connecticut, you have to have eye protection, whether it's sunglasses or goggles,
or my Darth Vader visor here,
or Darth Vader visor, or a proper windshield on a motorcycle. But by law, you need to have eye protection. Helmets, if you're 18 or under.
Okay, and I saw a kid yesterday out on a bike who was wearing shorts and sandals and a T-shirt riding a motorcycle. Your thoughts? You tell me your thoughts, Alex.
Well, aside from the fact that my dad always makes sure I know all of my safety cues, I think that it's very important to have the correct protective gear because he's been in an accident before, and if it had not been for the helmet he was wearing or the leather jacket, I mean, it would have ripped his skin up because it ripped the jacket up. Wow. So I have a very, very thick jacket. I don't want to put it on right now because it's so hot, but right. But it's very thick, and even in the hot conditions, you still need to be wearing protective gear.
I was going to say, because the temptation, especially in summertime, is to really dress down quite a bit, but you still have to have those leathers on, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, if you fall, you don't have any protection. You're gonna regret not having the right protection on.
Now, I'm going to guess here that most of our viewers don't ride motorcycles, and hopefully the ones who do are somewhat experienced. And so maybe we can educate drivers of cars, because a lot of times people just don't see motorcyclists.
Yeah, I think the big key, Jeff, for the day is situational awareness. Both as a motorcycle driver and a car operator. I mean, you have to pay attention to motorcycles. They deserve and enjoy the same rules of the road and the same laws as cars do. But they're sometimes dismissed because they're smaller. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're hard to see. It is a law in Connecticut. You have to burn your headlight on a motorcycle. But car drivers tend to kind of disregard motorcyclists. So car drivers, you really have to give them some leeway. You can't cut them off. You can't encroach on them. Give them the road as if they were a car. When you're riding a motorcycle, you really have to pay attention. You have to look, you have to use your signals, hand signals, your directionals, In addition to that, I look over my shoulder once, twice before I make a lane change. You have to stop. You can't compete with a car, and you can't play chicken with a car.
You do so at your own peril, I suppose.
Absolutely.
And
so,
can we talk about passenger safety? Because you say you've ridden with your dad for so many. What do you have to think about as a passenger, and what do you think about as a driver carrying a passenger?
well, as a passenger, you want them not to steer the motorcycle. You have to take into account that there's extra weight. So there's certain things you just have to do prior to making a move on a bike. So, for instance, before Alex will get on, I make sure my feet are planted on the ground. Before she puts hers on the ground, she asks me. She holds around my waist a certain way. And most importantly, she does not try to steer the motorcycle from the rear seat.
She leans into the turns right with you.
Correct.
She has to anticipate just like the driver.
Yes.
I wish we had more time to talk about this because this is certainly a very important topic, especially in summertime. So many people out enjoying the roads. But we appreciate your time coming in. Alex, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Great to see you again, sir.
Thanks for having us.
All right, and I know you'll never want to wear this again. Sorry about that. All right. Well, thanks for coming in. Don't become one of his clients. He's got plenty of them, all right?